Hey, so I'm making this video to keep friends, loved ones, family up to date with how I'm doing, but also if you're just coming across this video to tell my story and share it in case that it's valuable to people. So I'm currently fighting cancer in Japan, and I want to explain how I got here and how it's going. So I'll get to the exact diagnosis and currently where I'm at later, but I first want to talk about how I got here. So, because I'm not in Japan as a tourist, I'm here on a student visa. So I had the opportunity to study the Japanese language at a dedicated language school. So it's not a university program, it's a dedicated language school in Japan. And given that I was working a part-time, a remote job already on Asia Pacific hours, it became possible for me to come over here to Japan and study the language full time. So I've been in Japan for 6 months. Yeah, I've just been here in Kyoto and enjoying life, meeting tons of amazing new people, and just having an awesome time as a student here. So on March 30th, I was feeling normal. I went out that day and had coffee with friends and was feeling normal until the evening. And I started to feel abdominal pain. And at first I just thought it was indigestion or something. I ran a bath and that didn't really help, and I laid down and it was not going away, and so I was concerned it could be something like appendicitis or something like that, and so I called an ambulance and in broken Japanese explained what I was feeling, and somehow got my address across, and they came and picked me up and took me to the local hospital. And got into the hospital, they hooked me up to an IV right away, started running some tests, did my blood work, and when they did my blood work, that was immediately a big red flag. I believe the word they used was severe. Now, this was because of a testicular tumor. That I had been aware of that for a while and had been in the process of seeking treatment for that. I had gone to the hospital before, but it was things like, the oncologist isn't here today, can you come back on another day? And had just been bounced around. It wasn't something that was causing me pain or a tremendous amount of inconvenience, so I took that a little bit too lightly and let that go on for far too long. But anyway, I communicated to them that I was aware of this testicular tumor, and I'm sure that's what they were seeing in the blood work that was like, oh no, because seeing the cancer markers in the blood work. And so what the abdominal pain that I was experiencing turned out to be was cysts in my liver that had burst. So that tumor had already metastasized to my liver, and that had created some cysts, and those had burst, and that wasn't a super pleasant experience. So I was in that local hospital for, I believe, 2 days. Honestly, that was kind of a blur. went by pretty fast. I think I just slept a lot. I was not allowed to eat or drink anything. I was just kept on IV. So I just was pretty minimal activity and all of that. And so that after doing some tests, the hospital I was at was like, this is a little bit over our heads. We're going to transfer you to Kyoto University Hospital. It's one of, if not the best hospital in the country, in Japan. And so, yeah, they called a medical taxi, which was cool. It was just a van with a lift on the back that can pick up a wheelchair. So I just was in the wheelchair and they brought me into the van, and that was kind of fun. And they drove me over to Kyoto University Hospital, and I went to emergency care there, and all of my tests and paperwork and everything were forwarded over there. More tests and everything were done, but very quickly it was determined that that I needed to have surgery right away to remove the tumor and to, yeah, pretty much start treatment immediately. So the final diagnosis was testicular cancer that had metastasized to liver, lungs, and lymph nodes. So at least on paper, what they were seeing was really not good. Thus the urgency. I had already been just on an IV for 2 days at that point, so I went into surgery very quickly at that point and had the tumor removed, and that was on. Yep, I was transferred to Kyoto University Hospital the morning of April 1st, and that evening I had the tumor removed. And on April 2nd, my parents arrived. I'd let them know that I had been hospitalized, but that was obviously very shocking for them, going from, you know, tummy hurt to cancer and emergency surgery. Yeah, so on April 2nd, my parents arrived, and I'm immensely grateful for so much in my situation. I know it's sort of strange considering the circumstances, but the help and the generosity of everyone who was around me. My teacher from my school was actually the one who was by my side going into surgery, and he was there at the train station along with the school admin to pick up my parents when they arrived. And yeah, their generosity was extremely touching and humbling. And the care that I've received here has been nothing short of extraordinary. In spite of a bit of language barrier, I speak a little bit of Japanese, but I've been communicating in English with the doctors, but the nurses and stuff only speak Japanese, and even so, I feel so tremendously grateful for my circumstances, because I view this as something that I was always going to have to deal with. Cancer isn't something that just happens quickly. It's something that, I mean, we don't fully understand all of the causes, but we live in a very complicated and ugly world full of a lot of pollutants and things affecting our bodies that we really don't fully understand the effects yet. And so I view this as something that was inevitably going to happen to me, but the circumstances that it happened in, I feel extremely, extremely fortunate. The other side of that, it's very upsetting to me how much worse my situation would be if this had happened while I was living in the US. And that is the situation for everybody who's going through what I'm going through in the US. And, you know, healthcare policy when you're healthy is a talking point, but when you're actually receiving care, it's your reality. And that's something that I have only really grasped now that I am going through something like this. I guess I should talk a little bit about how I'm doing now. So I am about 10 days into chemotherapy now. So there was, I want to say about a week of recovery from a little bit more than that. Maybe 10 days, maybe 2 weeks of recovery after the surgery before I started chemo. I pushed the start of chemotherapy just a little bit because I really wanted to be, it was important for me to feel strong enough that I was working with the chemotherapy, that my body was working with the chemotherapy and not against it. And so I felt a little bit more time would be really important to that, and I'm glad that I made that decision. But anyway, about 10 days ago, I started chemotherapy, and it's been a ride with the side effects and all that. Honestly, the direct side effects have not been very bad, although I'm not very far into the treatment yet. The anti-nausea medications and the various slew of steroids and support medications that are provided along with the 3 main chemotherapy drugs so far have been really effective for me at counteracting those side effects. The biggest things for me have been actually back pain, which was not a direct result of the chemotherapy, but rather a result of being stuck in a hospital bed for weeks, and initially after the surgery not really being able to be active. So I've been working my way back to a point of walking some distance that I can every day, and really pushing to be active as much as I can, and that's been really beneficial. Yeah, so about 10 days into chemotherapy. So far the results are actually looking really good. We're doing regular blood tests, x-rays, all of that, and cancer markers are going down. Everything has been improving. The internal pain that I was feeling from those burst cysts and just the general internal inflammation, all of that has been gradually residing. And honestly, I'm feeling really good. So surprisingly so for on paper how my condition was. I mean, I came into this as otherwise a very healthy person, someone who did everything right, had a pretty good diet. Living here in Japan, I've been walking probably 8 miles a day, or maybe 20,000 steps maybe, just through my regular routine. That's just sort of how life is here. Walking to school and going places with people, and you do your groceries on foot or by bike, and so being active. Growing up, obviously, if you know me, grew up in a very active family, doing all sorts of of fun things. I was an athlete as a teenager and remained active into my adult life. Maybe other than spending a few too many hours in front of a computer, did everything right, and this still happened. But that's part of why I want to share my story and put it out there for anybody that it's helpful to. So yeah, this is my story. If you want to follow along, then I guess do the YouTube things, follow the channel, subscribe and everything. If you have questions, then leave comments. I'm going to try and keep posting regular health updates here, as well as some other kinds of videos that you'll see soon that are more related to music and technology and what I want to do in the future. So yeah, follow along, and I'll see you in the next one.